nerve, bub.
Round one, fight!
Sabretooth, I should have smelled you coming. You've lost it, pal. 10 years ago, I never could have got this close.
I can still handle punks like you.
Enough!
Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying-Model-Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the Wolverine and Sabretooth 2-pack. Celebrating the 50th anniversary of the old Knucklehead, we finally get the Victor Creed that we've been waiting for. And he comes with a Cowboy Logan, who is an accessory or maybe even a tax. Is this a decent 2-pack? Well, we're going to find out right now. So taking a look at the figures in the box, they do look terrific. Oh, it's so good to have classic plastic packaging back. These two guys together cut a hell of a sight. And then we get them out of the packaging and we got Wolverine and Sabretooth. And these figures, there's some highs, some lows, and some little in the middle bits. So let's talk about them. So the first one we're going to address, of course, is the big star of the pack, Sabretooth. The Sabretooth that we've been wanting for the longest time. Because we have this costume design. We've got the Jim Lee Sabretooth, but he's a little bit undersized. He's showing his age a little bit. He was begging for an upgrade. And the big upgrade we wanted was a larger, more hulking, terrifying, imposing body. And we got that here. That's the big caveat takeaway, first of all, I will say, with this figure, is the size and the stature. This is what we want Sabretooth to be. He looks as intimidating and as imposing as Victor Creed ought to be. That's great. So the initial impression, the first sight that you're going to see is exactly what we wanted. That's wonderful. Also, the color scheme itself, that's great because it's never a guarantee. Sometimes with Marvel Legends, the yellows can look a little greeny, or the skin tone might look a little bit, I don't know, not skin tony. But this is what it needs to look like. And it's all quite subtle because, let's face it, there's a lot of similar colors with Sabretooth. You got the yellows, the tans, the browns, the blondes. It's all a very similar color palette. So it would be easy for this design to look, I don't know, like a bit blah. But it doesn't look blah. It actually looks blam because every little nuance is captured to perfection. But there are some caveats I'm going to have with this. So going from the top down, the big selling point for me is both face sculpts because they each have a very distinct style. We've got his rah going into battle face, and also we just got this evil, mean, maniacal grin. I love both of these. It's very rare where I'll get an action figure with two different heads and I'll actually want to swap them both out regularly. Normally there'll be one head that's a clear winner. And I'll say, boom, I'm going to stick with this one. The other one, into the fodder box you go. But with this Sabretooth, I think I'm going to want to play around with this a bit because even though I'll always go for a more dynamic looking face, this one is just such a classic dickhead Victor Creed, if you'll pardon my French. He just looks like he's just thinking of all these mean, horrible, sinister, nasty ways to torture Logan. That's the expression I want. Marvel Legends face sculpts are still the best in the business. Better than Mafex, better than Mezco, better than McFarlane, and anyone others as well. I genuinely think they've just nailed that look of comic booky with enough realism to make them feel alive. I dig it. I dig it so much. So Victor Creed never looked better. Never looked better. And then going down the body, just all the sculpting on this lion's mane of hair that he has back here, that just looks so big. It feels like they've done more than just paint a pre-existing body. Having this here just makes it feel more bespoke, like Sabretooth, which he needs, because the rest of him is a painted body, and that's it. So if you wanted to zhuzh up this character a bit more, you could have actually sculpted in the line where the dark brown, separates from the yellowy orange. That would have made it feel a little bit more zhuzhed up. But I appreciate that's not what we were going to get with Marvel Legends. And then going down the figure, we got nice pinless arms. That's great, but then he does have the pins in the legs. At least, though, the colors match. So there's no disjointedness in that regard. But still, completely pinless legs? That would have been nice to see. I can't help but feel that maybe in a year's time or a couple of years, we might get a single release version of this Sabretooth with pinless legs, a bit of an upgrade, because that's kind of, the circle of toys. But as a standard body for this Sabretooth, it's decent. It's the best one I feel that they could have gone for with their pre-existing options. One thing I think really shows its age, though, is the waist. I'm at this stage now where I can't see a waist like this and not hate it. I really do, because I'm so used to more modern action figures now where you have the egg cup kind of waist, so that when you swivel it, you don't get this big distinction, this flat surface that just breaks everything up and makes it look kind of unnatural. You know what I'm saying? Jada Toys, even Hasbro, G.I. Joe, they have often more of that egg cup kind of look where it's recessed, dipped into the pants, so to speak, so that it's a smoother joint, especially for a character like Sabretooth, who's very agile and cat-like. He's going to be launching at Wolverine. It's something that over the last few years, it's become more of an irksome point for me. So I feel that kind of sticks out as old engineering on an otherwise modern feeling action figure. Okay, quick cutaway here, because friend of the show, Adam, commented on my Angel review where I said a similar point about wanting the egg cup waist. And he said, be careful what you wish for, Dave. Because if you have a character who is just fully in smooth spandex without a belt or anything, you know what you're going to get with an egg cup style waist? McFarlane style rubber diapers on your figures. That's not a good look. That's a cursed monkey's paw type result. And you know what? You're absolutely right. The perfect solution is something that Marvel Legends already do. And that's the ab crunch with the upper torso swivel. The one that you would find on Renew Your Vows Spider-Man. That's the sweet spot. For a character that's fully spandex clad, that's great. You get that lower ab crunch, and then you still have the twist in the upper torso. That is the absolute sweet spot. So I stand by my statement that Sabretooth's articulation is outdated. That flat disc waist I still think is ugly, but you could fix it, and maybe one day they will do, with a sweet little ab crunch and then a nice torso swivel. For a modern figure, that's the type of modern tooling I'd like to see. But then when we look at his arms, the gloves, the spike on the elbows, that's real nice. I really like the sculpting they've done there, as well as his hands as well. The gnarly, maniacal Sabretooth claws coming out here, they look like they could do some serious damage. And I love that they've done a decent job of sculpting the individual nails. It's not just pointy fingers. He's got the actual fingernails that you can see on there. That's real nice. That's really, really good. Also, going back up to the top of the figure, with the fur on the back, at first I thought that it had kind of a wash or some dry brushing on there. It actually doesn't. I think it's all just, it's plain one style of colored plastic just molded in there. But because it does have such nice sculpting with the flicks of hair and fur, the way the light catches it with shadows and whatnot, it has its own natural highlights, basically. So it does look very kind of real, like you could almost put your hand in it and ruffle it up a little bit. He probably wouldn't like you doing that, though. And then finally, just going back up to the head again, both of these heads, the paint job's beautiful. It really, really is. They've just captured that wonderful, sinister, psycho-looking stare. It probably helps that he has pupilless eyes, which is a funny sort of stylistic choice, because of course, like, Sabretooth's pupils don't disappear, but he's so often drawn without pupils. It's just the crazy white eyes, and it just works. It looks right for Victor Creed, it really does. Both heads still have the slight Marvel Legends lipstick look, where I do appreciate the different color for the lips and the mouth and the gums. It does make them feel more alive, more real. But still, I feel like the lips look just a little bit unnatural. Not terribly, though. And I can even see with this snarling open mouth one, he actually has a different red for the gums as well, which is almost like a blood kind of red, like he has just sunk his teeth into someone. That's gorgeous. With all the sculpting on the forehead as well, with the furrowed brow. Yeah, you know what? Both of these are absolutely stunning. I love this head sculpt. So everything about this Sabretooth, like they pretty much do nail it. I just wish that it had a different waist. If he had a different waist with a better, more modern type of tooling, that would have really pushed it over the top. And then as far as articulation goes, I'm not going to tell you the basic articulation. You know it. You can see it. Nice butterfly joints at the back there. So with articulation, I only point things out that are negative or unusual. And in this case, he really can't look up very far or at all because of the pure mechanics of having the fur at the back here. It's kind of a sacrifice. I get it because what are you going to do? If there are any toy manufacturers out there who would have had a better idea as to how to implement this and have him look up, I'd be interested to hear, because I don't know how you would have done it. So you do sacrifice some of the upward head tilt, but he can look down at least, so he can be pouncing down on his prey. That kind of works. And his side to side is fine as well. So you've got enough movement options to still have a cool, fun looking Victor Creed. Basically, on the whole, I do really like this guy. If I was going to give him a star rating, I'll do a star rating at the end for the whole pack. But for Victor Creed, I'd give him, it's tough. I want to say 3.5 stars out of 5 because the waist needs to be more modern and the legs could be pinless. So I think that's kind of fair. 3.5. Going on 4 stars if I was feeling more generous. I could give him a very generous 4 stars. Also, he has different hands as well, but what's kind of funny is the hands, you got these claw hands here, or if you don't want claw hands, then you could have slightly different claw hands, because they're just 2 different pairs of claw hands. And I feel like when it comes to accessories, if you didn't have one of the accessories, would you miss it? I feel like I've got him with his claws out. Any other style wouldn't really make a difference. So it's nice that they include them, I guess, but I feel like it doesn't really make any kind of big difference. As long as Sabretooth is looking like he's about to rip your face off with his fingernails, that's all you really need him to do. Then we got the other half of the 2-pack, and we have Cowboy Wolverine here. And this is a figure that, it gave me a few gripes and grumbles. On the whole, it's a perfectly adequate figure. But let's not beat around the bush. This is the Wolverine tax. You buy this 2-pack because you want Sabretooth, and then you pay an extra 25 bucks because he comes with this Cowboy Wolverine, where it's like, if you didn't have this in your collection, would you be sat at home pining, looking out the window going, if only Marvel Legends made another Cowboy Wolverine. Yeah, another Cowboy Wolverine. We got a Cowboy Wolverine already. We've got Cowboy Wolverine at home. So you could say, well, how have they zhuzhed up this one? Well, the first thing is, I will say, the claws. I think that these are the Fox Hugh Jackman claws. They're great. Hasbro, you never need to make a new set of Wolverine claws again. These are perfect. The size, the style, the shape, they just, so good. These are absolute chef's kiss Wolverine claws. Don't need to change them whatsoever. The legs are the old legs from the Cowboy Wolverine. The torso, I think, is completely new. He's got a nice ball joint swivel up at the top here. That's great. He's got double jointed elbows that are pinless. Of course, if you do fully extend the elbows, you do get the big sort of weird gap of his arms, but I mean, that's just the way that the plastic is going to move, I guess. It's okay, but from certain angles it can look a bit weird, but you got to sort of pose him accordingly. The one thing that kind of irks me a little bit with this is that you can see he's got this head here, and I'm looking around to where I've got the other Wolverine head here, and it's like, spot the difference.
They're the same picture.
if you can. There's really not much of anything. He's got a stoic face and a slightly smiling face, and that's it. And it just feels like a missed opportunity, because you're going to include a second head. You're going to include a second head sculpt. Why not make it remotely different? It really isn't. Yep. He's in a 2-pack with his arch enemy, his mortal blood rival to the death. Why is he not looking like he's going to be fighting him? Both of these are just Wolverine sat at a table chilling out, playing cards. Neither one of these say, I'm launching into battle. And it's especially strange that the artwork on the box has him literally launching into battle. That's what he's doing. And the cowboy hat is flying off his head and he's going, rah! And it's like, why didn't we get a head that's doing that? That would have been great. Instead, we got two pretty much identical heads, just with a slight smirk on one and a slightly different colored cowboy hat. That's a big swing and a miss. I'm sorry. I always got to say, if you're doing a Wolverine with more than one head, he's got to have a rah head. It's Wolverine. So it's a missed opportunity there. A little bit frustrating, especially it wouldn't have been so egregious if he wasn't packaged with his mortal enemy who he should be fighting. Neither one of those heads say that he's fighting. And also the cards that he come with, it's a real nice splayed out deck of cards with the Xavier logo on the back. That's cool. But neither one of his hands, because he has, plenty of extra hands to choose from, none of them can really grip the cards very well. You can sort of maybe balance them, but they're going to fall out. It's going to be a bit of a pain to try and make it work. So ultimately, I'm thinking if you're going to sculpt the cards, you might as well sculpt a hand that is actually holding them molded in there. So you don't have to worry about them falling out. You just plug the hand with the cards in. I suppose since the cards are on their own, you can have other characters holding them. Of course, they would go perfect for Gambit, for example. But ultimately, I would just rather have a hand that can actually hold the cards. So this Wolverine, definitely surplus to requirements. I'd give him 2.5 stars out of 5, because it's a bit of a frustrating missed opportunity. When you can't recreate the look of what the artist is doing on the box, even though you've got multiple heads, it seems like that was a bit of a swing and a miss. But with both of these figures together, let's give this pack a grade. So, as a grade for the Wolverine and Sabretooth 2-pack, I'm going to give this 3.5 stars out of 5. There's some really great stuff here, but a few little niggles as well. Sabretooth is the obvious highlight, and both of his face sculpts are absolutely superb. With the big stature of the character as well, it really does do him justice. It's just a shame that some of the tooling feels like an older action figure. In the year of our Lord 2024, we should have some more up-to-date articulation with our figures. And folks, that does it for my review of the Wolverine and Sabretooth 2-pack. A fantastic Sabretooth with a Wolverine tax. But still, it's a great way to celebrate the old Knucklehead's 50th anniversary, and we've got a whole lot more figures coming in this line. So what do you think about this set, gang? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, then you know what you gotta do. You gotta join the 6-1 Clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. And if you want to go one step beyond in supporting the channel, then you can do by getting a YouTube channel membership or joining the Patreon, or you can go over to Into the AM with a link in the description below. Pick yourself up a badass graphic design t-shirt just like this, and that helps support the channel by supporting the sponsor. But gang, thank you so much for watching, and until next time, keep displaying model behavior.
Cup of coffee.